Okay.
Yes. Hi, we're on. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, June.
Hi.
So I'm back with June Rogers, medical journalist, and today what we're going to do is talk about the concept of codependency. And I'm giggling because I did put my dog away, but she's becoming codependent, so she's found her way in. It'll be what it'll be.
All right.
Okay.
So a lot of people have concepts about codependency. So I think the best place to start is to talk about what is codependency.
Okay, so codependency started with the addiction research. Melody Beattie has written a lot about codependency no more. And what it is it's my take of it is when somebody lives somebody else's life for them. So they actually aren't in their own skin and their own needs and wants and who they are, but they're living really somebody else's life. So if you think of what happens in the addiction world, that you have somebody who is your partner, your parent, your child who's an addict, and what you do is you spend most of your time living that by asking them how much they're drinking, did they drink, looking for bottles, setting them up with AA, doing these kinds of things in order to get them to a place where you want them to be.
As opposed to them
That's the only way it's ever going to change. I say, I've been in practice a long time, as you know, and I say, like people say, well, change him, change her, change my partner. And I say, guys, I've been in business a long time. I have never, ever, ever seen anybody get their partner, child, parent, friend to lose weight, to stop smoking, to stop doing drugs, to exercise more. It will never, ever, ever work if somebody starts to think that they can live for them, the other person, and tell them to do what they feel.
And why is that?
Which part?
Well, why is it that the other person that you're trying to change doesn't do it? What happens?
They're just not ready to give it up. They're not at the same place that the other person is.
Okay.
Right? They're not feeling the impact of their addiction or their behavior or whatever it is. They're not feeling it.
Right.
It's the people who feel the impact that are going to be the ones who want them to change more.
Okay. So where does codependency start?
So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a definition that an anonymous client came across my desk decades ago. And I have quoted it ever since to my clients and in my workshops. And this is what it is. This particular person said, I had to be there for everybody else. This day forth, I shall live my life and my life alone, allowing each soul that I meet the same privilege. Not judging, manipulating, controlling, or the big one, or even protecting them from their own realities. For my moment is their moment also. And this new space I allow for myself, I shall fill with, and you can fill it with whatever. You can fill it with love, you can fill it with yourself, you can fill it with whatever.
Okay.
So I just want to go over that one more time and break it down.
Yes.
This day forth, I shall live my life and my life alone. Like, think about that. Because as parents even, how often have we said, if only my kid would do, it would turn out so much better.
Yes.
Why, if you followed my script of how you ought to live, things will, that wouldn't have happened. And maybe you wouldn't have, you would have gotten into that school, or that person wouldn't have dumped you.
Yes.
Right? If you would listen to my template.
Right.
So this day forth, I shall live my life and my life alone.
Yes.
Allowing each soul that I meet, insert, even if that soul is my child, my parent, my partner, my friend, the same privilege. It's the only way people are going to learn is by knowing that they have the privilege to figure it out.
Right. Not
judging, manipulating, controlling, or as I say, even the big one, or even protecting them. But if I didn't step in, look, you don't know what would have happened, and maybe they would have had the car accident, and maybe they would have ended up drinking too much.
Right.
I'm sorry, if that protection, under the guise of protection, it's still codependency.
So where does that person who's trying to control or whatever, is there fear there? Is that why it's going on?
Absolutely. I love that question.
Okay.
And we didn't rehearse this. That's a great question.
No, this is all extemporaneous.
The thing about, it's a fabulous question because in my self-integration model,
Yes.
I talk about the catastrophizing parent who makes us anxious. So think of any parent. Let's take the parent as an example. If I don't step in, my kid won't get into school. If I don't step in, they'll end up on harder drugs. If I don't step in, they'll land with the wrong crowd, right?
Yes.
So my catastrophizing parent is making me feel anxious. How do I manage that anxiety? I move into control. So it's all fear-based.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell them I'm going to apply to schools for them, and I'm going to get all the applications, and I'm going to call the school and tell them that mark wasn't a good mark. That's what happens. In order to reduce our anxiety, we move into control.
Okay.
And we all do it. Guilty.
Yes. Oh, me too.
Guilty.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, definitely. So it starts usually by, in my case, I'm talking about myself as a mother.
Okay.
Of course, you have a baby and you must protect the baby, right? So you have to feed it and make sure it has warmth and shelter and, can learn how to walk and talk and all of that stuff. So you do start out as being a very protective person in this person's life.
Yes.
So then how do you let go?
Exactly, right. What do you do?
How do you let go?
We say that, our babies, our infants would perish without us. So we have to take control over everything.
Right.
And that is the thing, because we move from this kind of control, because we have to.
Yes.
This is somebody's life.
Right.
And then what we don't realize is, those dog leashes, those extendables, that we have to let more and more and more out, because I want to go back to that word, privilege. It's our 4-year-old's privilege to figure out that wasn't a good decision. It's our 4-year-old's privilege. It's our 9-year-old's privilege. It's our 12-year-old's privilege. Now, of course, we still want to parent.
Yes.
Okay, and I call that, in my model, the guide, because what the guide does, it's the teacher, it's the mentor. We don't stop teaching and mentoring. Right. And I always say we herd cats. So if a kid is going, we bring them back a bit with an explanation, with a discussion, enlisting them. Right. So over developmentally, that kind of taking control of our infant has to start to let go.
Right.
It lets go when they start walking.
Right.
It lets go when they start going to preschool.
Right.
Right? JK. It lets go during, the 9s, 10s, and 11s when they're getting a little bit more independent. They can walk places themselves.
Oh,
then adolescence, separation, individuation.
Right.
So it's all along. A lot of parents don't get that.
Yes. They just keep on staying in that place where they're super protective.
Super protective.
Right. Because if they didn't do that, then the child, ultimately, the worst fear is that they'll die.
Right. That's the worst.
And is that a privilege? So, a lot of people will push back on that whole idea.
Right.
Like, for example, I just spent a weekend with this 7-year-old who was absolutely delightful, but he was very physical. And he was jumping around this room that had a glass table and orchids and sculptures, and I just had to stay. He was popping a balloon around, right? And he was flying and falling, and I just thought, okay, here's my catastrophizing parent. He's going to fall on that glass table, and he's going to cut himself. So, yes, I kept on steering him away from the glass table, but I didn't stop him.
Yeah.
And at one point, his mother was hovering around and said, oh my God, I'm terrified he's going to hurt himself. And she said, he's used to getting hurt and scrapes. I can't tell you how many times we've been to the hospital. I will come over and talk to him about maybe moving over to this part of the living room where the glass table was. And that's what she did, and it was great. It was perfect. Because we did not stop him from being his wonderful, exuberant self.
Love it.
But at the same time, having that little bit of, sort of a border collie,
Exactly. It's the herder, right?
Right.
And that's the perfect example of the difference between what I call the critical parent, which wants to control, and the guide. Yes. The guide still embraces that child state, right? The child state of I've got to explore, and this is so exciting in how old?
Yes.
7-year-old?
7.
And we don't stop that child state, because that's I say it's the heart and soul of us.
Yes.
but we don't move in with the control.
Yes.
Stop that now.
Right.
Get away from that.
Yes.
You're going to get hurt.
Yes.
We guide. So that's a perfect example.
Yes, good.
Yes.
So then, of course, there's the codependency between husband and wife,
Okay.
which is a bigger thing.
Yes.
Right. So talk to us about that.
Okay, so there's a difference because difference between codependency, which doesn't have a great ring to it,
Right. No, it doesn't.
and interdependency. So I think healthy couples have a wonderful sense of interdependency. I don't lose myself. So if this is myself and this is my partner's self, I don't lose myself, but I kind of find a fit. So we're there. I don't lose. That's the big piece to me. I don't lose myself, but I can still be dependent upon somebody. They can be dependent on me. We can have this interdependency.
Okay.
So to me, the big piece is we do not lose our own sense of self.
And that's having your own interests. Like, for example, I love the theater. My husband, he'll go to the theater with me, but I love it a lot more. I love to write. And my husband, he likes to write, and so he has his own thing, and we live together. You know, some days we don't see each other very much because he's doing his thing and I'm doing mine.
Good.
But that doesn't make me unhappy. I'm actually very happy, to have my time, and he has his. Right?
And that's a perfect example.
And I do not
right?
lose myself.
Exactly.
I don't wait for him to come home. I don't wait for him to call me. I'm doing my things.
Yes.
Right?
So you
But
haven't
at
lost
the same-
yourself, and neither is he.
That's right. But there are things that he does that I cannot do, and vice versa. For example, he's very good with numbers, so I don't touch the checkbook. And similarly, I am very technologically able to do things, and he is not. So when he has trouble with his computer, he calls me over. I help him with that. So there is that
Interdependency. That it's okay to rely on people,
Right.
but it's not okay for people to live each other's lives.
Right. Get involved. Oh, well, where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, can I come along because I don't really have anything
anything to
today? And you know.
Or you shouldn't be doing that. And why are you going with those people? And why are you leaving? And then you start controlling what they're doing. So
Like
that's
a lot of jealous partners, right?
Yes.
Right. Well,
Okay, so what we want to say is there are going to be more of these. We have a whole bunch of concepts and interesting ideas to talk about. If you see this and have any questions, please, you are free to email me at info@donnajacobs.ca. I will answer any questions that you have about this video. And you're welcome to go to my website, donnajacobs.ca, and find any information there as well, where this video will be posted.
excellent.
Okay, June, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.